Hi again, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here. You know, I was thinking about some brothers and sisters who are not very old and yet still perhaps not that young. And I'm thinking about I came from down south. And down south, there were some strange things going on. Some strange things going on all over the country, but there was a lot of farms and rundown shacks and the signs of yesterday's living. And this was aside from the fact that poverty was rampant there. There was nothing really moving, trying to advance certain people's lives. So they had to deal with this. This was a crisis, ladies and gentlemen. I think about in the 90s when the government and its secret implementations were expressed in such a fashion that it caused a lot of pain and suffering to families, and especially families of color. Remember when they brought the drugs on the scene? I mean, can you imagine your system of government trying to entice people to violate the law, trying to find ways to rob people of any income that they might have hanging around, or drive them to the status where they'll start committing crimes to get money to do uh, things that would lead them to go to jail. All of these kinds of things happening, and it's set up within the system to dysfunction, to cause dysfunction within the system. And it has a long-term effect when those parents who were involved in up in jail, they got kids who now don't have a father figure around, and they grow up absent that structure. And even if the fathers had been there, if things hadn't changed, what kind of a structure would that have been? But anyway, I can remember the times where I could pass through certain cities and towns in various states, and I can see young men hanging around certain particular parts of town where there's some constant traffic so they can see what's going on, but hanging on street corners, drinking beer, just killing time, nothing to do. It is absolutely pathetic that all of this is wasted. But it wasted because it was not um, in the ideal of the plan, the facility. In fact, this is why the jails were built, because these are the doors that were left open for the progression of the system. But what I want to say to these young brothers, many of them are in jail today. Many of them are dead because of the things that they found themselves in. We like to apologize. I'd like to apologize to you guys for failing to be there for you. For the most part, we did not know what to do. We were listening to what we were being told. We were trusting souls, believing that they would do the right thing. And they haven't done the right thing, as we can see in America today, because they decided to bring what they were doing from under the rug and do it publicly. So all of us could see that they were never doing the right things. Not only were they never doing the right things, they are indicating to us through the policies that they're trying to implement and the systems that they're trying to set up and how they're trying to manipulate and sabotage them. It seems that they're not concerned about even thinking about fixing anything, which is understandable. But at the same time, it should be an indicator to those who are searching for truth, because this is not truth. And so, where do you go from this? Do you think about yesterday when Biden was president, do you think that was true? Do you think when Obama was president, do you think that was truth? Or when Bill Clinton was president, do you think that was truth? Or when John F. Kennedy was president, do you think that was truth? So let me ask you, if you disagree with all of those, when was that truth? When? So if we cannot point at a time that there was, then that means there must not have been. And if that has never been, wow, what kind of people are we that can put up with this for so long? And the option, the opportunity to change has always been there, and there have been many who have come forth and stood before and spoke out too, walked accordingly, and have been murdered because of it, as a sign of how worthy it is. But for some strange reason, and here I am today, thinking about the people that's really suffering because of the things that have been pushed upon them, forced upon them. They didn't ask for it. They didn't beg for it. All they ever wanted was life. All they ever wanted to do was to live. All they ever wanted to do was find something that they loved doing and engage themselves in it because it would afford them the opportunity to live the kind of life that they know is required to bring about peace, prosperity, freedom, joy, and happiness. They wanted to be able to have access to those things that are essential: food, clothing, shelter, education. They wanted to make sure that when they want to go someplace, they have money to do that. When they needed money to be right there on the spot, to have that money right there on the spot. Now, the difference between that and this is when they brought money on the scene, money was designed not to make sure that everybody was satisfied, but to use people to rip folks off in such a way that they could still feel satisfied by not recognizing what had happened to them. Now, there's one other way that I have been speaking of that I know of, many of you might, and that is to do it the divine way. That is the way to make sure that no one is ripping anybody off, because we recognize that all of the earth belongs to a power that we can't see. And so we don't have to be influenced by our gender. We don't have to be influenced by our race. We don't have to be influenced by our political persuasion. No, 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 no. We are persuaded by what brings us the fulfillment of our lives. And we're focused not on some Democrat or some Republican or male or woman to deliver it for us. We are spoken on what we want, and everybody knows it. And our attention is focused on that power that is focused on us, that's leading us, that's guiding us, that's allowing us to see the darkness, allowing us to see the light, allowing us to walk according to that which we've been given. And when each of us are walking according to that invisible power, we are all being drawn in the same direction that that invisible power would have us to go. And we don't even have to sidetrack. We don't even have to worry about looking at somebody else and see what they're doing, because we are so wrapped up in what we're doing, and we recognize the benefit of it. And so we go forward. This is all I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. For those who have paid so much, and I'm not necessarily talking about those who were beat down, I'm talking about the people who have suffered, the people who've been denied life. Good God Almighty. That was what I'm really talking about. So I want you to think about that tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk again tomorrow. Goodbye.